Hello and good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome back to Soft Spoken ASMR. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different. We are not out shopping together, but the other day when I was at Lidl and I decided to pick up these little travel catalogs that we have here in Germany. I know for most people, Aldi is really just a supermarket, and sometimes they have fun bits in the middle center aisle. And here in Germany, they also have travel on offer, and it's usually package holidays that you can book at usually quite a good discounted price. I thought it might be fun to have a little look and see where we can travel to today. So today we have, we'll call it Happy Holidays Travel Shop. See if there's anything that you might like that you see here. We would get started with it. And of course, it's in German. Here it says Reise Highlights, so the travel highlights. And here, right on the cover, we have absolutely stunning Tenerife, which is an island in the Algarve. Sorry, not in the Algarve, in the Canary Islands. Pardon me. And here you get 22 days, including your flight, in the 3-star hotel, Panoramica Garden, with half board. And for those who aren't familiar, half board means you get 2 meals a day. Now, a lot of hotels will let you choose if you want it to be breakfast and dinner or lunch and dinner. But it's usually always dinner. And then full board, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you also have all inclusive. And sometimes people even just book just breakfast as well. But that's quite rare for a package holiday. So the 22 days in Tenerife, it is 1,399 euro. Now you have to go to page 7 to see what the conditions are. So let's skip ahead to page 7. And here you find the holiday that was on offer. Now sometimes you only get the cheap deal, or most times you only get the cheap deal if you travel within a certain time frame. And those are usually out of school holidays. So it's usually when children are in school, and most of these are based on couples traveling. So this travel period extends from November 25th through April 26th. And there are only certain airports here in Germany you can fly out of. But still, for 22 days, I find that to be a brilliant offer. And it says here you get a little studio. So maybe you even have a kitchenette or something along those lines. Let's go back to the beginning, and then we can have a look around. So here on these first 2 pages, it is mostly Germany and Austria that is on offer. And it's usually a long weekend, so 3 nights. This one's a bit longer, 7 nights and 4 nights. Start here. This is in the Bavarian forest. and you get 7 nights in a middle class hotel. The name of the hotel is Margaritenhof, and it is all inclusive for €229 per person in a double occupancy. Here again, you will find the details on your travel dates. So the offer of €229 is through the winter months. So the 23rd of November through the 14th of December, which might be a bit off-putting for some people because they would like to see the Alps in the summer in all its glory. If you're lucky, you might even have some snow, and that would be very romantic in a lovely old chalet-style hotel in the forest. And we'll do one more here. This looks like a lovely hotel. This is in Salzburg, or outside of Salzburg, in the countryside in Austria. The city of Salzburg itself is absolutely beautiful, so you can include a day trip to see the city of Salzburg. Here you get 3 nights in the Sport Hotel Kogler with half board, €259 per person, and you get one of these lovely balcony rooms. And the €259 price appears to be all year. I don't see any details on exactly what day. Maybe down here. No. But Austria is an absolutely beautiful country. Salzburg, Vienna, along with many other cities, are definitely a wonderful short holiday. Here we have more long weekend trips that you can do from here in Germany by car. So as far as I can see, none of these offer flights because, yeah, they're close enough to get to by car. Here we have, this might be interesting, von Bremen bis Kiel. And this is oh, how lovely. This is a journey that you can do by bicycle. You have 7 nights and you take a tour from Bremen to Kiel, which are 2 cities in northern Germany. And at each stop, you get a hotel that's either 3 or 4 stars. And this package deal includes breakfast. Along the way, it tells you how many kilometers you would have to ride each day by bicycle and where you will be spending the night. I think that's quite interesting, really. And that is a 7-day journey. Down here, you can do a bicycle tour through Provence, which of course is in France. That is also 7 nights. And along the way, you get to stay in a 3-star hotel at each stop. And again, this includes breakfast. And this is €949 per person. And I have to admit, this photo here is very, very enticing. A lovely old-fashioned bicycle in a meadow of lavender flowers. It is more Provence than the scent of lavender. And here, for those people who might be interested, I'm sure you can do wine tasting. You can do this is with bicycle and ship, a little boat. You can go and explore the Rhine and Mosel region here in Germany, which is world famous for their wine. And I have been to the Rhine and Mosel region, and I can tell you, it is also stunningly beautiful. It is well worth the trip. Here we have more vacations that here in Germany they consider Aktivurlaub, which means you're either hiking or riding your bicycle. You have the option here of going to, again, the Mosel, which is here in Germany, Corsica, which of course is a French island. That is 8 days, including your flight and half board for €1,200. Here we have Mallorca, which of course is a Balearic island that belongs to Spain and very, very popular. And for 8 days, you spend €1,179 per person, including the flight. This is also a hiking vacation, and you get to spend in a convent, which sounds very, very interesting. And if you've ever been to South or Spain, Italy, Greece, you know that most of the convents there are absolutely beautiful and in very, very nice locations. Here we have the very standard or typical, I should say, summer vacation in Europe, which is what we call Badereisen, which is, of course, the beach and pool holidays that a lot of people like to book. You can, this is the one we looked at earlier in Tenerife for English speakers, which was the 22-day journey. Here we have Rundreise, which means you have the opportunity to travel around a region of a country, or sometimes, if, as in the case of Ireland, it is small enough, you'll probably get to travel most of the country and with the stops along the way. And it's a great way to explore a lot of the country and get to do sightseeing. In this way, it's a one-stop shop book. You just book the journey, and here they've already booked all the individual hotels and excursions for you along the way. So here we have Greenland, which I believe is Greenland in English, for 5 days, including flights. You spend €1,599, and you get to see Copenhagen, Nuuk, and a couple of other places in Greenland. Here you can see Ireland for €1,399. It is an 8-day journey along the island. It appears to be, here from the photo, the lower half of Ireland, which is probably a more famous region. It has the cliffs of Moher and Cork and maybe Waterford, Galway, which is quite popular. And here you get 8 days, including flight, in middle class hotels. It says mit Verpflegung, meaning with food. I'm not sure if this is half board, full board, or only breakfast. Here we have Andalusia, which is southern Spain. 11 nights, but does not include your flight. And here you pay €760 per person. You also have the option of the Baltics, Letland, Estland, and Litauen. And it shows you here on the map exactly which stops you will take along the way. For 10 days, including flight and middle class hotels with breakfast, is €1,299. You also have the option of going to Greece, and there 8 days, including flights, is €1,599. And that sounds and looks like a lovely journey or holiday as well. Here we have Istanbul and West Turkey, and 8 days, including flights, in 4-star hotels with food is €499. Again, we have Turkey, and here I see Cappadocia, which I know is quite popular right now because it is where they have the hot air balloons. And 8 days in a 4-star accommodation with half board will cost €399. Again, these are quite affordable deals, but you always have to read the fine print on when and what dates you can travel. Down here we have China, which is very exciting. I would love to go to China one day. 11 days, including flights, 4-star hotels. You also get a night train with breakfast is $1,599, which sounds like a very good deal. Fly all the way to China. Here it shows you where you get to go. Here you have the option of traveling to Bali, which I was very fortunate enough to do many years ago. Beautiful island and wonderful people. 13 days, including flight, in a 3/4-star hotel with breakfast is 1,849 people. And that is you get to see different places in Bali. Here we have Japan, 10 days in a middle class hotel with breakfast. It's €2,199. And it looks here like there are quite a number of stops along the way. And I'm sure that Tokyo will probably be the highlight for most travelers. Here you have a combination package of South Korea and Japan, and that is 13 days in 3 or 4-star hotels with breakfast for €3,899. And here we have a very long journey, 28 days. Australia and New Zealand. How fabulous would that be? Such a long flight. Wow. So you get this journey includes flights, middle class hotels with breakfast. And here it looks like you really get to see most of New Zealand. And then Sydney, I believe that is Melbourne. Alice Springs, where it's Rock, or I believe it's Uluru. Yes, and then is that Cairns up here? Darwin? And with my glasses, it's hard for me to read this. But per person, it's 8,919. Here we also have New Zealand, and that is 32 days, and you really get to see the whole island, it looks like. And that is 9,900. And here you can travel to East or West Canada. No, East and West Canada. And that is 16 days, including flight and breakfast and your hotels. 3,999. And it looks like you really get to see all the big stops along the way in Canada. Love to see British Columbia. And here it is beautiful. Here we have the USA, Florida, and 9 days, including flights. The hotel and breakfast is €2,199. And you get to see from St. Augustine all the way down to Key West. Just quite a long journey. Especially all of that in 9 days. Here you have Central America, and then we say Middle America, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Panama, which would be very, very interesting to see. For 18 days, including the flight, you and hotel and food, it is €4,699. And if a very cute picture of a snoozing, sleeping sloth won't entice you to travel, then what will? Very cute. Here we have Peru, of course, the famous Machu Picchu. You can also see Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil, all in the same trip. 5 countries in one trip. 19 days, including your flight, in a middle-class hotel with food will cost you €5,299. Here we have a trip through Kenya, followed with a few days at the beach, and you get 16 days, including flight, middle-class hotel with full board, and that costs €3,599. That would be a very interesting journey. Here you have journey to Zanzibar and Tanzania. And in Zanzibar, you get to have a beach vacation, and in Tanzania, you get to go on a safari. Here, it's a wonderful photo of a lion. It's 17 days, including flights, 4-star accommodation, all inclusive, €4,299. Here is Namibia, 12 days, including flight, in your middle-class hotel / lodge with food is €2,399. Here we have South Africa and Mauritius, for €3,699. This is an 18-day journey. including flights, middle class hotel / lodge, and half board. This looks like a fascinating journey as well. We have summer trips to South Africa. You get 3 countries in one, and you get to see world famous Victoria Falls. So you get South Africa, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. 16 days, including flight, hotels, and breakfast, €2,899. Here we have cruises, mini cruises along the Rhine. This is the first one here. 6 days in a premium ship, all inclusive for €1,190. Here we have 2 nights. You get to go to Norway from Kiel, which is in northern Germany. 2 nights, 190. Here we have the Ostsee, which I'm not sure what you call the Ostsee in English. And for 11 nights, in the Baltic countries, 11 nights in a premium ship with full board and all-inclusive drinks, €1,549. Now this I would find very interesting. The Norwegian fjords, 7 nights on a premium ship, all-inclusive and full board for €999. And we have more cruises. And as far as I can see, this is just an example of the cruise or the ship you would be on. This is the MSC Preziosa, and it looks like an absolutely lovely ship. I've never been on a cruise, but like I said, I would try maybe a fjord cruise or maybe a trip around the Mediterranean. That sounds lovely as well. Here you get to travel around Iceland for 11 nights, and that will cost you €1,599. Over here, you get to travel Great Britain, Scotland, and Ireland. I think that would be interesting too. €1,399, and that is 10 nights. Here we have the Norwegian fjords and the North Cape. 11 nights for €1,799. And more Norwegian fjords along with Spitsbergen, €2,399 for 14 nights. And here we have the Aida. It is quite a famous ship here in Europe because it has a face drawn on the front of the ship. And so you can spot it right away. Here you get to do a cruise through the Canary and Madeira, which is an island that belongs to Portugal, and it's supposed to be very beautiful. I've never been to Madeira. And for 12 days, including flight and full board, it will cost you €1,299. Here you have the Eastern Mediterranean, so that would be Turkey, probably Cyprus, I'm not sure, and maybe some Greek islands. For 10 days, including your flight, it is €999, including full board. And this would be any archaeologist fan's dream. It is Egypt. You get to see Cairo and Nile cruise, and then also a beach holiday in Hurghada. And I'm sure that you get to go to Luxor and, of course, the Valley of the Kings along the way. I see here you get Cairo, you see the pyramids, Gizeh, the Sphinx, and Aswan. Yes, Luxor with all the temples, and that, I have to say, would be a wonderful holiday. I would love to see that. 15 days, including your flight, in a 4-star hotel. Full board will cost you $1,699. And as you can see, every holiday will show you a map of the stops along the way, so you know exactly where you're going. Here we have a cruise through the Orient, bathing, vacation in Hawaiian. Okay, you start in Dubai and go all the way to Bangkok, Hawaiian. Very interesting. It sounds like an interesting journey. 16 days, including flight in a 4-star hotel with breakfast, is €2,599. Another cruise here is Asia. A vacation also in Bali, to be on the beach in Bali after the cruise. And that for 21 days. That's a nice long trip. 4-star accommodation, all inclusive, is €3,999. Here you have a cruise from Sydney all the way to Bali. Here's a little picture of Sydney, goes all the way to Bali, 25 days for €4,399. It does look like you would have quite a number of days at sea. So if you prefer to spend every day in a port, this might not be a journey, but still, I mean, what a privilege to get to do that. Here we have the USA and the Caribbean. You get also 2 nights in New York City. And you fly from New York, looks like, down to Cape Canaveral. And from there, you go to the Bahamas. And that is an 11-day journey. 3-star hotel in New York City. And full board on the cruise for $1,999. And here we have, wow, this is a very long journey. It's transatlantic from Sao Paulo, Brazil, of course, all the way up to Hamburg, Germany. And you have many, many stops along the way. And that is 28 days. 4-star hotel, I'm assuming, in Sao Paulo. And then you get full board on the ship, and that is $3,499. We're already the last page here. Wow, South America and the Antarctic. How amazing would that be? 20 days, including flight, 3-star hotel with breakfast in the hotel. And then once you're on the ship, the Sapphire Princess, you have full board, €4,799 for that. And here's the map You start in Buenos Aires, of course, and it appears in Buenos Aires, and then you fly home. That would be absolutely amazing. All these different holidays would be absolutely wonderful. I would never say no to any opportunity to travel. A little peek inside the Travel Catalogue. I will post the legal one in a second video. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing, and wonderful day, night. See you again soon.